Ladies, I'm so excited that you're joining us today. I have my friend Anna Frandsen here. Anna is the leader for the Heart Center Entrepreneurs, where in her community on Facebook, you can find her. I just told you Anna stuff. So pause the interview, go join her Facebook group and come right back. Today, we're talking all about how can you build your own Facebook community just so that you can surround yourself with the people that are not only looking to buy your services, but the people you're meant to serve in this planet, the people you're meant to help them transform their lives and get the awesomeness that is next for them. So Anna, I am super excited to talk with you. I know that we've been like Facebook friends for a few months, even though it feels like I know you in person. Do you want to say hi?
Yes, hello. Thank you for having me. I adore you. I adore your spirit and what you stand for. And so thank you for having me on this interview.
Yay, it's mutual. So ladies, Anna helps, like I was saying, heart center entrepreneurs just create the business and the life of their dreams. She's going to be able to tell us a little bit more about herself. She's a mama to a little baby, and she's going to tell us more about that. And then we're going to jump right into the questions. Remember, this is just 20 minutes. I want you to grab your pen and a journal or whatever you want to use to just write any aha moments and anything so you can take action like right away. So Anna, do you mind telling us a little bit about you, what you do, and your awesomeness?
Yes, so that's a great question. I work with heart-centered entrepreneurs, so women that want to make income online, but they have like a bigger why. Like they want to make a big impact, and they want not only to help their clients, but they want to build a business that potentially gives back to the community, or that I don't know, there's like a deeper reason behind what they're doing. And they genuinely want to make money, but they genuinely want to help people too. Like those are the women that I am fierce about supporting in their businesses. And yeah, I do that through my free Facebook group and other stuff. And yeah, that's me. So I am a business coach. I have been a life coach. I have been a therapist. I am a mom and will always be a mom. Yeah. And a lot of other things too. But yeah, that's just a little bit about me. I drink tea like crazy. Like I'm in a coffee shop right now, I'm drinking tea. Yeah. I'm going to go home and I drink tea when I'm stressed. I drink tea, like it's just my water.
So what's your favorite tea? Now that you're talking about tea, let's jump right in there.
I'm trying to expand my tea repertoire. I don't know how to say that word. Like the most recent tea that I've tried and loved is called Hot Cinnamon Sunset. Have you heard about that?
No,
you can get it at
Target. All about spices, so yeah.
Yeah, but normally I'm kind of boring and I do green tea. Green tea all the time.
Wow. All right, so tell me, I'm going to ask you a few fun questions that I always ask people so that we can get to know you a little more. What's your favorite TV show? I know you're a new mom, so you might not
see, this is horrible. We don't own a TV and I don't watch TV. Now this is like horrible because whenever my friends are like talking, I feel so out of the loop and uncool. But like, if I do watch something, this is just gonna be horrible. If I do watch something, it's American Pickers, The Prophet, like something that's recorded and like 7 seasons old. But really don't watch. That's only because like I have 2 little kids, probably. Like my husband and I, like our businesses are kind of like our hobby and our business. So we're really not that fascinating of people.
So I think that any mom can relate to you because in our case, like whenever Julian was born 3 years ago, we just like cut the cable. We now have Netflix and Amazon because you never have time to like watch at the same time or whatever. If you're watching something, it's going to be like whatever your kid wants to watch, at least in our case.
Exactly.
So the Cat and the Hat and all of that. Do your kids get to watch any TV?
They don't really, though. Occasionally, I will put on either, I just forgot the name, Daniel Tiger. Occasionally, someone watch Daniel Tiger, or when we're at like our church small group, he'll watch Paw Patrol. Hopefully that's no.
Oh,
I've never seen it, so I'm just like trusting my friends who put it on.
Paw Patrol is the bomb. My son is like hooked on Paw Patrol right now. So cool. So, all right. So why is like a hobby of yours? What's something that you do to relax and to just like connect?
Pachi, You're killing me. I'm really not that exciting or fascinating. So outside of like children, right?
Yeah.
Like I feel like spending time with friends is a lot of like, since like I spend a lot of my business and work time online in my personal life, like I don't really hang out on Facebook. I don't really like, I love connecting in person with my girlfriends. And so I would say that's like a lot of like how I spend my time right now is either in my business, with my children, traveling, or spending time with friends, or doing some sort of like church or Bible study. But I
You
don't know.
may think that it's boring, but anyone that's building their business is like, that is the life.
Okay. I enjoy my life. Like I
There
really
you go,
do.
yeah.
But I think like, especially when your infant is under 6 months, I just think a lot of time ends up like I spend multiple hours a day nursing, you know?
It is the truth. And you have, and how old is your other, is it a boy or a girl? How old is your other?
Yes, I have a 4-month-old and a 2-year-old.
And a 2-year-old. So cool. So cool. My husband was asking me about when are we having our second one. And I was like, I'll be right back. So we're in the middle of that discussion. You got to keep me up, keep me posted of how that works. But
yes.
Yeah, okay, so let's dive into more of your business awesomeness. I have been, like I said, in love with you, especially because I feel that you have mastered like the either the secret formula or the whatever it is to build a powerful online community that feels literally like if people are like at your living room, just having fun, probably having tea or whatever else they want to drink. You know what I mean? Just hanging out. Can you tell me a little bit more of like, how did you go from wherever you were when you were first starting to actually building this powerful community?
Oh, I just want to say thank you. Like, I'm so glad that it comes across that way because that's just like my heart. And I love hanging out in my own community, you know, whether it's just like answering questions or asking questions, you know. And so I'm so glad that it comes across that way. And my favorite thing is that a lot of women in our group have actually met up in person. You know, I was just talking to someone yesterday. They both live in Nashville, and 2 women in the group, and they met up for the first time. So it's like, I love that it is really fostering like genuine connection and impact for those women. So yay. And I would say like that's been my heart from the beginning, but that was like my biggest block in starting it, in that like I really felt like I don't want to start this sorry, I'm at a coffee shop. I was afraid that I was going to start this group, and like I sounds crazy, but I was like really nervous to like interact with strangers. Like I think I didn't have this trust and faith that I would attract people who are like me.
Yeah.
I would attract people that, and I'm sure there are people that aren't of my vibe, but they probably either leave or ignore me because I irritate them, you know? And so it's like, I think finally taking the leap and opening a group was such a beautiful like first step for me because I think very quickly I learned like, oh, there are amazing, like my clients, like I love talking with them. They're amazing women. They're deep. They've got drive. They've got heart. Like, and I think before I started working and putting myself out there fully, I was nervous that women out there existed, which is kind of crazy. But what was your question? I don't know if I answered your question.
No,
Ask the question.
I love it. I feel that you're hitting the point of like women who are in that process of like the getting booked, that hitting that five or first 10K. Like that's exactly part of where you're at. You're like, are there enough people that will take me up on my offer? But not even on my offer, like to join my online community, right? So that we can start like just hanging out and connecting with each other. So I love what you're saying. So how I know that you're all, so this is one of the reasons why I was like, we need to do this interview soon, because you're talking about being a good host. Like I saw one of your trainings or something that you posted that it was all about like being a good host, making people feel good at your party. Can you tell me a little bit about like what that strategy is about, and then how has that like turned people into loving you and then becoming your client?
That's so funny. I totally forgot about that training. I don't think I use that analogy very much of like being the party host, but I think it's so true. Like, I think what it does is it allows you to be the type of like host and leader that comes naturally to you. Like, and so think about yourself at a party, right? Like, how do you naturally engage people? Like, a lot of what I talk about in my business is engagement as the solution to really landing those like dreamy clients. And doing it in a way that doesn't take up your whole life. Because, you know, like my life is crazy. And so I don't work in my business a ton, but I'm able to be really successful. And I think people think those are mutually exclusive. Like, you're either going to be really engaged in your group and you're really going to be connected with your audience, and you have to spend like 90 hours a week doing it. Or if you only spend 20 hours a week in your business, it must mean that you're really disengaged. But I think that using different like planning and systems, you can be really engaged, but that doesn't, like, it's more like quality engagement. You know, like when I am on Facebook, I am like commenting like mad, right? Like I'm not, very rarely am I like scrolling through Facebook, you know? And so, I think just being aware, that's what your question was, like being the party host, right? So I think it's like going back to that, I think it's about asking yourself, how do I show up and make people feel comfortable? How do I engage? When I host a party, like maybe I don't host a big party. Maybe that makes me feel really nervous. Maybe my thing is I invite 2 women over for coffee and I ask them like, hey, how's your, you know, I've never met you before. Like, what do you do for a living? How old are your kids? Like giving yourself permission to get to know your audience in a get to know you way. And that's not shallow. Like you don't have to like ask these super deep questions to really be you and show up and get engagement. And then obviously once you build that relationship, asking deeper questions and getting more into the minutia, but giving yourself permission to just show up as the host of the group, just like you do in real life. Like how do you, when you meet someone, like what questions do you ask them? That's probably the questions you should be asking in your group.
And you know what, like I'm going to tell on myself right here of something that I feel that you really helped me do. And it was a lot about like, just like you said, for us deep women, even though we're fun and even though we love other stuff, like whenever you're deep, especially if you have like if you have some service-based background, you like to go for the kill. Like, so it's so easy for you to show up online and be like, show me that wound, show me that struggle. Like, what is sucking in your business? Like, or in your life or in your weight or whatever it is, like, and people are not ready because nobody would show up to a party to just ask people like, hey, so why are you struggling with weight? You know, like you would get punched or escorted out of the party. Like it just doesn't work.
Totally.
And I love the way that you say this because I was like, yes, why am I making this harder than what it needs to be? And so can you talk a little bit more about that? Because I think that is something that can really resonate with our audience.
Totally. And I think what we end up doing is we end up acting out of character even for ourselves, right? Like we end up doing things online that we would never ask or do in person. And I think for me, what I try to get better and better at is not that we're creating a shallow group, but that we're creating a lot of safety, and we're asking those more intimate questions in a way that feels safe. So when someone is a one-on-one client of mine, when someone is in a mastermind of mine, then I go really deep. Then I really challenge, I really push. But the thing is, then I'm in a relationship with them where I can help them heal. Like I can help them process. Like I'm in that safe space where I feel good about pushing an opening because I can walk with them in a long-term relationship for them to see the results. And so in order for someone to get there though, they have to have hope, right? They have to not be so discouraged of like, oh yes, my business is a wreck and there's no way out. They have to have the hope that like, okay, yes, I can do this. Yes, I can live this dream, right?
Yeah.
And then once they're in that relationship, then we go through the minutia to make it happen. But yeah, just being really conscious around what we're asking people to do. Like, how are we serving them like as a leader and creating a space that feels really safe, that feels really comfortable, but not ungenuine. Like it doesn't have to feel fake, but it can be not more surfacey, but like allowing people to disclose their stuff at a rate that feels good and safe to them.
I love that. I was talking with someone, I don't remember who it was, but I was talking with someone, I think it was one of my clients the other day, about how like that's such a big piece of getting clients online. A lot of people are showing up, and we're about to talk about like what are some of the struggles and the like mistakes you see people making. But we were talking about like how a lot of people show up online and they are like, without noticing it, they're making their clients feel not good enough in a way to position themselves as like the expert. But the thing is, people need to feel hope to even claim a discovery call with you or to even claim your freebie. They are already feeling like the negativity, the fear. And whenever you show up as the leader, part of your responsibility is to say, hey girl, yes, you can do this. Like, hey girl, of course you're called to do that. Like, and I feel like you do such a beautiful work at doing this, but I know that you do it a lot through content. So do you mind if we talk a little bit? I know that you talk about the different kinds of content and then even the different levels of that relationship for that content. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Totally. I feel like I talk about content all the time. People are probably like sick of hearing me talk about content. But I think if I were just to share one thing about content, if you're starting out or even if you're not, it's to really make sure that you're showing up through your content in two ways. And that's authentically, so that people get to know you as like a human, right? But also with authority. And I find that most of the people that I talk to naturally are good at one or the other. Like it's so easy for them to show up as the authority and teach, right? Or they're it's really easy for them to come across authentically, to share their struggles, to share where they're sucking it up in their business. Like, I really think you need to do both, right? Like you need to show up as the expert, but you also need to show people be a likable human.
Yeah.
And so I think that's one way to quickly troubleshoot, like, okay, how am I showing up with my content and what do I need to lean a little bit more into?
So for the women that are looking to either get booked or hit that first 5 or 10K month, like what's something that you would recommend for them to focus on, even based on what you were just saying, to focus on for the next 90 days, let's say, so that they can really ramp up, create that momentum and attract those clients? What's something that you would say to them?
Oh my gosh, that's such a big question because I feel like I work with women with so many different businesses. So I do work with some coaches, but a lot of my clients aren't coaches. Most of them or all of them right now have online businesses, but they're not all coaching businesses. And so I think it really depends on what type of business you have. If you're doing like a coaching service or more like a done for you service, like web design, whether you're doing branding work or branding strategy. So
are most of your people service-based, like service-based entrepreneurs?
Yes.
Awesome.
I would say most all of them are service-based, definitely.
Yeah.
So I think if I were just to have one tip on like how do you really work towards those bigger months? I would say it's just like making sure you're being consistent. Like once you have one message, one offer, once you have your sales path nailed, like how someone goes from like a stranger to like a paying client, once you have those foundational elements nailed, really making sure you're consistent, at least for 90 days before you're making shifts, right? Like, and so I think the biggest mistake I see people make is like shifting. So I think the biggest way to get financial momentum in your business is to make sure that you're just really tooting one horn all the time and letting people know, or as Lacey says, how does she say it? Like blowing one trumpet. That's a better way to say than tooting your horn. But also in the sense of like, once you have that clear path, doing the things to sell in your business. So being consistent and consistently selling, I think are like common denominators, no matter what type of online service-based business you have.
Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. So if you had to start from zero, like you had to start all over again, so glad you don't have to, but let's just go there. What are like 3 things you would focus on, like to be able to hit that trumpet and get books with the clients that you love?
I love that you said we don't have to start from scratch again, which like that's one thing I tell my clients who are starting out, because that first phase of business, you'll never have to like start from scratch again, right? Like you never have to build from zero. And so I love that you said that, because I think it's such a great reminder to get people through that hump, right? Of their first few $1,000s of, that first chapter.
Yeah.
If I had to start from scratch again, I don't know that I would do anything differently, because I think it all really contributed to my learning. But I will say something that I recommend my clients do different than what I did is I started out with both of my businesses, with my life coaching and my business coaching, doing group programs. So I started both businesses basically with a sold out group program. And I feel like I did so well, and I was able to sell those out because of several factors that not all entrepreneurs have starting out. Like with my life coaching, I was coming fresh from being a therapist, so I was really in tune with the type of subject matter and the type of things that clients really need. Like, I kind of cheated in the sense that I had done a ton of one-on-one work in therapy that positioned me really well to sell out my life coaching group program.
Yeah.
But I would say starting out with one-on-one work typically and not group work helps you get that experience to sell out the groups. So I usually recommend to my clients, if you're wanting consistent, quick income, working one-on-one and really understanding your clients on a one-on-one level is a great way to start out. And
Can I say something there
yeah,
though? I love that you make the disclaimer, because I also think that is true for women that, like us, are coming from being like in the service-based industry, even if it wasn't as a coach. Like how sometimes it might be the opposite, even like looking at where is it that you're coming from, right? Because like if you already have this clientele and stuff, I have had clients that are coming from as for being a counselors, and it works so well in their cases to start with something that will make that kind of money as they get clients in. So I love that you're making the disclaimer, like in your case, you had this background, but if you don't think that you have to go into the group program but doing the one-on-one.
totally. So I
It.
would say, and then just one more transition I feel like that I'm actually just honestly going through right now is, and I don't know that I even knew this was an option starting out, but I think I'm trying to do a little bit better about shaping my business around my life a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like looking at how many, not only, I feel like I've done pretty good at asking myself how many hours do I want to work a week and not going over that.
Yeah.
But I think being even more specific and saying what hours of the day do I want to work? What days of the week do I want to work? And shaping my business around that a little more. But again, like at the start, I think it, like even with content, like now I plan a lot of my content in advance, but I don't really regret writing my content every single day when I started, because I think that's a great way to be pacing with your audience. And so I think there's something to that like initial, and I don't want to call it hustle period, because I know like some people like have a bad reaction to that word, but like you are going to put a little more time in manual connection while you're making your business profitable before you're leveraging. I think it's healthy and normal to be pacing with your audience and working in a different way than when you're ready to like start leveraging your time in business.
I love that. I want to like, I wish I had something that said like truth bomb, truth bomb. So awesome. All right. So what can people do, Anna, if they want to work with you, if they want to access? I know you have an awesome group, but like, let me give you a chance to connect with our audience if they want more of your support in these areas. Where can they find you?
Yes. So the best way to work with me right now, my long-term mentorship spots are basically full right now. So probably the best way to work with me is just my free stuff in my Facebook group. Or I do have like intensives that if people are feeling stuck around like one spot in their business and just need like a burst of like clear strategy, I do like 90-minute intensives called Clarity and Confidence intensives. So that, or just like hanging out in my Facebook group, the Heart Centered Entrepreneur is a great place to be.
Awesome. Well, ladies, I am so excited to have given you access to all the awesome stuff that Anna's doing. Anna, I'm so excited to see the women that will join you from this interview. Let me just wrap it up with this. Ladies, we want to challenge you, and I want to challenge you with this one thing, and it's to dare to create the community that you want to belong to. So just like us, we were freaking out. We didn't know if it was going to work. We didn't know if we were going to get clients from it, but we got out of our comfort zone and just pushed ourselves to be able to serve the women we want to serve and just the people in general that we want to serve. So I want to challenge you with that and close by saying, Anna, thank you so, so much for joining us. Thank you so much for being such a great light and such a great friend in the online world for me.
Thank you for having me. I loved this interview.
Yeah, so ladies, make sure that you come to, if you haven't joined me and my community, make sure that you come online. You can find me at PachiMcLeod.com. Click where it says join our tribe, and then you'll be able to join us, and so that I can keep you focused and motivated to reach your dreams and your goals. I'll see you next time. Bye, Anna. Thank you.